The Big Tits Lebanese podcast.
That's pretty sexist. I don't say that kind of stuff, Autumn. I'm a ally.
I'm an ally too.
What if
I'm allied with women?
What if there was a show called Ally McBeal?
Oh, and then it's a
she's
guy.
about a human rights lawyer.
It's a really skinny guy that is
married to Harrison Ford. Ally McBeal.
Yeah.
What do you think happens on Ally? Give me a rundown of an Ally McBeal episode.
So I think Ally McBeal is a really skinny lawyer, right? Really skinny guy lawyer.
Yep.
He's a white guy.
You're basing this off of Callista Flockhart having a pretty bird-like frame.
Yeah.
Correct?
Perhaps an eating disorder.
Yep.
Okay,
People
so it's a guy.
it.
It's
okay.
a lawyer with an eating disorder.
Okay.
Who is an ally to, he's a very liberal guy.
Yeah. This week on Ally McBeal.
Yeah, and then he's like doing, he's got a lawsuit where he's trying to get a lady an abortion or something.
Yeah, he's nice. He's suing. He's suing like
the Supreme
Equinox.
Court.
He's suing Equinox because he has a 600-pound client that they didn't have a way for them to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't a wheelchair ramp.
There wasn't a wheelchair ramp onto the step machine.
Yeah.
And
there's also
and he's also gay, and also because he has
no, he's not. He has to be straight.
Is.
He's an ally. He's not a part of it.
Well, you don't know what his allyship's towards.
His allyship is if he's a white male, then he can be an ally in amongst all aspects.
Okay, so he's a straight male, but he's still married to
it's actually
Harrison Ford.
It's actually you. You can play Ally McBeal.
I'm Ally McBeal.
Yeah.
This week on Ally McBeal, Your Honor, this is a travesty of justice. My client can't even. You didn't even remove the wall of the courthouse to let my client in. Yeah. Anyways, the bit is because he's super skinny. He's always fainting because he has low blood sugar.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So he's like, he'll be in the middle of court and he'll be like, Your Honor, okay, I need like a piece of hard candy really quick.
And then someone gives him candy. He's like, you go off, Queen. You can you eat whatever you want to eat.
You be as naughty as you want to. You guys, welcome to the Known Zone, a podcast where we know a little bit about a lot so that we appear smart. This is what this podcast is for.
I think it's a podcast for a podcast by stupid people for stupid people.
But the point of it is that we know a little bit about a lot of things.
I know so much less than a little bit.
Okay, well that's not selling us. The point is
no. Okay, you know a little bit about stuff. I don't know anything.
Yeah, and we're getting there slowly. But the whole thing is that I know this little minute amount about so many things that people think I'm smart.
Yes,
but I also am somebody who's like invested in crypto at the end of crypto.
Oh, I did too. $4,000 down the drain, brother.
Yeah. So like we can tell you, the capital of a lot of countries and what happened.
$800 of GameStop. Goodbye.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I got out like that day.
I invested in Dogecoin.
I did that too.
Literally the worst hour to invest in Dogecoin.
Really?
I invested in Dogecoin an hour and a half before the
boom?
SNL episode that Elon Musk was on. And then during that episode, the whole thing tanked.
Oh, it didn't go up.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that was that was probably most of the $4,000.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then you're like, oh, okay, well, it went down and it's probably going to go back up. So you keep feeding it, but you keep buying stuff and it doesn't go anywhere.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay. I just, worked really hard for that money.
Mm-hmm. You work hard for the money.
Uh-huh.
You work hard for the money.
I would join you if I knew the rest of this.
You work hard for the money and you just don't eat no cheese.
Uh-huh.
Because you don't have lactose.
Yeah.
Anyways, today's episode is brought to you by Fourth
Nelson Mandela.
Oh, okay. And also Liquid Death. Hey, Liquid Death. We're going to get enough followers to where you want to send us some stuff. Until then, support the Natalie Cuomo podcast. But anyways, today we are going to talk about Nelson Mandela, but not really Nelson Mandela. We're going to talk about apartheid South Africa. Nelson Mandela is a big part of that story, but he's just one part of it. Wilfred, what do you know about apartheid South Africa?
Well, I know what I know about it is kind of like the movie District 9.
It takes place in South Africa.
And I think it's a
Neil Blomkamp or whatever. That guy's a South African director.
Oh. Yeah. But it's all like an allegory for apartheid, right?
Yeah, and he has this, that guy that plays like the big baddie, the mean buff guy?
I don't remember anything about it.
Anyways, there's like a guy that's like
just remember
the meanest guy in it. He uses him in all his stuff. He's the South African actor that's like a badass, but he uses him in all his stuff. But it's like funny because it's just, oh, you know what he is? He's the guy that turns into an alien in District 9.
I still don't remember anything about it.
He gets scratched by the aliens, and the blood mix makes him turn to an alien.
Okay.
You didn't remember this at all?
I do
remember because he can put his arm in the gun at one point.
Okay.
Because it's an alien gun.
Oh.
Do you not remember this?
I've been playing Zelda, and
no, that's not who I'm thinking of.
And
I don't even think, is that District 9? Go to District 9 IMDb. I'll tell you who I'm talking about. That guy right there.
Charito
Copley. Charlotte Copley. I'm from South Africa. I have a disgusting accent. Is that kind of what it sounds like?
Yeah. Well, here's another thing.
We're down in Joburg.
I
can't do it.
Was bad. Apartheid, but it was the British and the...
Well, okay,
or no, it was the Belgium first.
The Belgians were there at one point, but it really, when we think of South Africa and we think of the Afrikaner, which is the white South African, they are Dutch. They are Dutch.
Okay.
There were some Germans down there as well. But Dutch South Africans were the baddies.
Oh.
And what happened...
I bet they threw a great Christmas.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
Christmas in South Africa?
It was warm, You got
kind
of like Christmas treats, but you're wearing shorts.
Yeah.
Not good people.
Yeah.
Actually, what I didn't realize, this is like dumb of me, but when I went to Amsterdam this year, I didn't realize that there'd be like a ton of South Africans there. But it makes sense because there's like 4 places on earth they speak Dutch, and one of them is South Africa.
Oh.
So, anyways, around the turn of the century, the 19th century.
No.
Well,
20th.
The
1900s.
Preceding that, and then going into the 20th century, a lot of immigrants from Europe went down there. I mean, it was warm, but it was.
Not global warmed.
It was like Europe, it was like where like warm summers, cold winters, kind of, but not as cold as Northern Europe. And great, really fertile soil. And also nobody was taking it because they didn't have like land ownership in tribal places because they were
Can you pull up a Africa map? Because I have no idea. My idea of Africa.
Why don't you go to maps actually?
My entire idea of Africa is that where's the south one? Oh, it's all the way down there.
Hold on? We got to stop real quick. Did you really not know where South Africa was?
I mean, I didn't know how south it was.
You think they're gonna have? You think they're gonna have the name South Africa and not be at the very bottom?
I thought much more of it would be South Africa.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, South Carolina isn't all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, but there's no more Carolina below it.
I mean, you never know. What if they want to make more?
That would be funny if there was like a whole other part of Africa below it that wasn't called Africa. No, South Africa is the bottom.
That's the equator around DRC, Kenya, right?
Yeah, and that's Gabon, Democratic Republic Congo.
What's
Rwanda,
the difference between green and gray?
Kenya. It's not gray. It's kind of a white brown, and that is the Sahara Desert at the top and some other deserts. If you go down to the Namib Desert, which is where Namibia is.
I didn't know that was a country.
That was also a Dutch colony. The Windhoek is the capital of Namibia, and out of there you can go to some pretty fucking cool desert landscapes. They filmed a lot of Dune there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good looking, and they're decent rugby players because they're the bad kind of whites. Anyways, we don't need to focus on this stupid Namibia map. We need to back it up, and get back over to that South Africa.
Yeah, to talk about the good kind of whites in South Africa.
You can kind of double click on that. So this is South Africa. And South Africa, so it was a lot of it's, the green parts are fertile and made for good farming. And so a lot of Dutch immigrants, which were the Boers, Boer, they moved in on down there.
Uh-huh.
And the Boers, they...
Bloemfontein. That's a fun one.
Bloemfontein? Yeah.
Bloemfontein.
And those countries like Eswatini and Lesotho, those are not South Africa at all. They are
Lesotho's a country in South Africa?
It's surrounded. Yeah, it's like that. I think these are the only places in the world, South Africa, where there's countries that only have one. They're landlocked and they have one border with one country. You know what I mean?
What about, is Palestine?
No, because Palestine touches the ocean, and it also touches Egypt.
Oh.
And on the right side, the West Bank.
Okay.
That touches Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not a maps guy. I'm telling you guys right now, this is embarrassing, but I could spend all day looking at this map. I would click on the different towns. I would walk around on Street View. It looks like
I'd pull up different historical things. I could plug in right now.
It looks like San Francisco in that picture.
Oh yeah, that's I think that's Joburg, maybe. Or no, maybe that's Cape Town.
It's a harbor, I know.
No, because Joburg's actually landlocked, I think. Anyways, so we got all these whiteys moving down there, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a war that's actually fought over South Africa between the Boers and the English.
Oh.
And the English prevail.
In South Africa.
Yeah. It's like for kind of land rights. So South Africa becomes part of the English Empire.
In the early 1900s.
I think it's around the late 1870s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were around that long.
Yeah, they've been in there forever.
Okay.
The Belgians were up more close. Like Congo was a Belgian colony, and there's actually recently Congo had to apologize for committing genocide.
What?
Belgium, the king.
Wait, Congo apologized to who?
Belgium apologized to Congo.
Oh, for committing genocide.
Yeah, and King Charles, I think, actually just apologized to some people about his country's role in some stuff. But anyways, so all these whiteys are down there, and I don't know how I don't know when their year of independence was. But it says the ANC, which is the African National Congress, which was kind of the main resistance to apartheid South Africa, started in 1912.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that it was already kind of... Because England was not perpetuating these kind of racist laws in Africa at this point.
They were not.
I'm sure they were racist, and I'm sure that they were not equitable to Native Africans. But they did not have any other apartheid states. So I don't think that South Africa was part of this.
Okay.
At that point.
Why did they? So England was also in
Zimbabwe
and the Caribbean, right?
Almost 75% of the Caribbean was English.
Around the same time?
Yeah.
And how come they
also Guyana, Belize, Falkland Islands.
How come they only did apartheid in Africa?
Canada, New Zealand, Australia.
Answer my question.
Hong Kong, India. Do you want me to keep going? Nepal.
Can you Google why they only did apartheid in South Africa?
No, they didn't. It was the Dutch. The Dutch.
The Dutch came back?
It was Dutch people living there that became part of the British Empire.
Okay.
So they were Dutch culturally, but they were governed by England.
Okay.
It was never a Dutch colony. It was just Dutch people moved down there in hordes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it was just Dutch people flocked down there. They were like, oh, we can grow tulips, and they have wood for clogs,
Oh, okay.
And they have wind, so we can make wind houses. What are those called?
Windmills?
Yeah, that's good. You knew something more than I did. Anyways, so what they come up with, what the solution they come up with, is that
the government down there basically creates two forms of rights, basically. So it's rights for whites, which are very modern and Western, and then rights for blacks, which are not rights.
Yeah.
And also what they do, and this is kind of...
Why did they... So apartheid started when?
Apartheid started in... Sorry, I got to look at my notes, guys. I know that's completely unprofessional. Keep going.
Because the British have been there for a while, and then they started apartheid, right?
Yeah, so...
So I'm like, what is this? What are these new laws in response to?
Well, the apartheid... No, okay. So when the government was figuring out what a modern South Africa, like their version in the 1900s, they were like, we can't be giving all these black people the same rights as us because they're going to want equity. And that's like our whole thing down here is that we're like kind of, we know what we're doing. We're stealing land. We're taking over stuff. So they created two separate, like it wasn't, I think, until 1948 that there was actually a fully apartheid government. It was always like theoretical and like racist laws and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's like probably like there wasn't Jim Crow laws right away.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they were like voted in eventually. But apartheid is just literally Dutch for aparthood. Like aparthood is being like, that's the like brotherhood. Aparthood is like hide just means hood. But they basically just were like, we'll have Dutch rights and then there'll be all the other people's rights.
Okay.
And so there was black Africans.
Yep.
There was mixed race people, which they...
No.
I don't want this taken out of context. They called them colored. That was the term for people that were mixed race, was colored. And then there was...
You really are afraid of getting canceled.
Well, no, I just don't want somebody to take it out of context to be like where I'm just saying,
No
like,
one's
they're
gonna-
called colored, you know? Like,
I think that if someone takes that out of context, it's good for us. Take it out of context. Clip that. Andy saying they're called colored.
yeah.
And then cancel us. And then the rest of YouTube's gonna react to cancel culture.
Yeah, we should go big.
Yeah. So these colored people they're mixing.
Well, they're mixing. Oh, they are, you know, and there was like, because there was, I think 10, maybe way more, 10 to 1-ish kind of numbers, like 90% of the population was black. And
It was
1%.
80%. That's what I know.
They didn't want them mixing. It was illegal to have sex with someone out of your race or out of your class. I think blacks and Asians, which by Asians it was Indonesians and.
We were down there.
What do you mean?
Asians.
Well, Indonesians, because Indonesia was a Dutch colony, so they brought over Indonesians as slave labor. So there's Indonesians, which are Malay people, kind of your people.
I look like that.
And then there's Indians. There's a lot of Indians.
Okay.
Did you know that Gandhi actually started his life in South Africa?
Oh, really? He's born there?
Mahatma Gandhi was born in South Africa.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of Indians there. There's actually lots of Indians throughout Africa. My friend, her family's from Uganda, and they were expelled because Idi Amin kicked all the Indians out of Uganda at one point.
Did you know that I did a book report on Gandhi and did not read that book?
Well, it's a big book.
I didn't read any books about Gandhi.
Do you know how easy homework is now for kids?
Yeah, you just do Chat GPT.
They're all doing it.
People are doing Chat GPT for like cover letters and resumes.
Really?
Yeah. My lady, she's looking for a new job.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
Because I use it to organize my notes on here.
You did?
Yeah. These are all, I always do Chat GPT for my notes organization.
That's why you don't know anything that you
No, but I
show
actually,
up with.
I will say in the past, that's true. But this one, I actually watched a documentary, listened to a podcast. And you know what? I'll say this. I want to take a real second to acknowledge this, is that here's what white liberal people love to do. This is their favorite thing to do.
I've listened to a couple podcasts about Nelson Mandela, and I'm like, I'm so sick of white people telling me about
this. They
this.
love to do this. They love to be like, and you know what? It's not that much different than what's happening in the United States. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's not great here, but it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Nobody, there was no Showtime in Johannesburg, South Africa. You can run around slapping people's hats off their head and catch them on your toes.
You know, what I don't like about Showtime is that it's taken away from the old days when people would breakdance at, like, you know, in front of the Met or something like that. Those are all gone.
The only breakdancing that's happening is Showtime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you would call it breakdancing.
You know what, though? I don't think you're right, because if you follow some of the accounts I follow, you'd see breakdancing.
There's
some big... Europe and Asia, they still love that shit.
I'm saying in New York.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Because
nobody's doing that unless they're an immigrant from somewhere else.
Like I mean, I had my time as a breakdancer. And
yeah, but I'm saying that's over. Like, I think we're the last generation of Americans who are really interested in that kind of dance. Actually, that's not true. I can't say that because there's all those fucking hip-hop dance accounts.
Yeah.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with
It's also like including, I've learned that voguing is now a part of the breakdancing.
I mean, those falls, what do you call that? Where you fall and your leg kind of bends halfway?
Yeah.
What is that called? A slam?
I forget what they're called.
That shit's intense.
What's that gay fall? Can you look that up, Autumn?
Can you look up what the fall in voguing is called? Dip.
No.
It's called a dip.
I don't know if that's what it's called.
Anyways, there's also a lot of those. Like, I saw this guy do this thing where he ran and he jumped and he like slid across the dance floor on the side of his head and his shoulder. Yeah. There's like these extreme kind of like holds that people do in breakdancing now.
That's called a chair.
Where you slide on your shoulder?
No. That's the position.
Okay.
But anyways,
so anyways, what I was gonna say is apartheid. What it basically means is it means we are living together, but we have separate kind of like rules, regulations. You know what I mean?
Oh, so was there like a district?
That was eventually like a solution. At first, it was just like, all right, so the whites get to do this and the blacks get to do this. But they noticed that, first of all, blacks and whites kept on sleeping with each other.
And no.
Also, blacks, I mean, blacks would coexist. Also, I think that there was a huge part of it that was like, if you just let people live together, they're going to be more sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this was a big thing. A lot of people don't know this, that most of the white South Africans were poor farmers, right?
Okay.
So they didn't have these illusions of like society building. They were just, and they didn't see a big difference in their plight versus the Africans. If they lived amongst them, those were their neighbors, and they ate with each other and hung out and stuff like that. And that's not what the apartheid government wanted.
Okay.
Because that was like, that's going to lead to some equality.
Yeah.
Racism doesn't really thrive outside of a system.
I mean, it starts somewhere.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, obviously there's still going to be racist words and things like that. But like, if you go to Queens, everybody's doing all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I think it really comes from like disparity in like resources.
Yeah. Yeah, systemic issue. I was thinking about how there's in apartheid, so one of my favorite things about sex is how like naughty it is. Mm-hmm. You're not allowed, you got to do something you're not allowed to do. And must have been cool to do interracial stuff.
Oh yeah.
At that time.
That must have been so hot.
Yeah.
Not like now where it's totally normal because this is Ally McBeal.
Yeah. But is Ally McBeal progressive enough to let step brothers and sisters have sex?
Listen, that's not Ally's job to judge. It's just to defend the court of law. There's nothing in the Constitution.
I'm just saying
that says it's illegal.
That's why step stuff is hot. It's because you're not allowed to do it.
It's taboo, but it's not illegal.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, it's after World War II that it really becomes like put into law. The apartheid government comes into power. They start implementing these laws, and they start basically like doing things like
a lot of people got big heads around World War II.
Yeah, you're telling me Mussolini,
Stalin, a lot of these
Hitler,
allies really got some big heads about themselves.
Axis and allies.
But the allies were like, oh yeah, like Russia, fucking
totally
big head.
big-headed about it.
Yeah, the U.S.
Assholes.
Real big head.
Boo.
Yeah.
Canada, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they only sent like 19 people to World War II.
That's not true. That's not true.
Really?
No, look up Canadian casualties World War II. You're going to be blown away by this.
45,000.
Yeah, dog. Damn, China lost 20 million?
Yeah.
Get out of town, bro.
You guys think you're
Denmark didn't do shit.
You think you're dedicated? No.
Denmark lost 3,200.
What about the Philippines? Let's see if there's any numbers.
500 to a million. Yeah, you guys are up there. I think you're in the leaderboard outside of the Soviet Union. Soviet Union lost 20.
Korea's up there too. Asians, we really took we got bodied.
Japan lost 3 million.
I think a lot of those Filipino ones were all the same day.
India lost 2.5 mil. Where were they fighting?
Yeah, you were trying to big up Canada. You guys are doing nothing compared to us.
You guys didn't do shit.
We sent so many people to get murdered.
Fuck the Canadians. Damn, the Dutch East Indies.
Brazil 2000? Jeez.
Oh, that's Indonesia. The Dutch East Indies lost 4 mil. That's of course because no, Russia's the leader, but China's second place.
Germany's got some pretty big numbers.
No, but China's 20 million. And they weren't even official, you know?
That's 20 million. Wait. Well, then why does... No, because Germany's got billions.
No.
Those are millions.
There weren't a billion people on the planet in 1940.
There weren't?
I think there was like 1 billion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyways... Yeah, so how do you guys feel about World War II now? Asians fucking rocked it and died.
But also, you guys, listen, you fucked around and you found out.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Tried to come after Pearl Harbor.
6 million doesn't sound like a big number anymore.
I love that I was actually thinking that. I was thinking that, and I'm not happy that I was thinking that, but it's funny where I was like, what are they complaining about?
Yeah, what are they? We're almost there. Filipinos
it's because you guys
are almost
did
there.
it to yourselves, you know?
We didn't do it to ourselves.
Yeah, you did.
The Japanese did it to us.
You got involved. You could have just said, "Hey, yeah, sure, have Manila." I'm not that upset about it.
The U.S. was in charge of Manila at the time.
Okay, well, you guys didn't have to fight.
We didn't. To be honest, we got bombed. A lot of that million happened in one day. Yeah,
they were just Gazans.
It was the same day as Pearl Harbor.
How many people died that day?
More than at Pearl Harbor.
Well, Pearl Harbor, like 20 people died.
There were 20 people in there. Yeah, 2 of them were Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Those are the two. Those are the 2 biggest deaths. Look how many people died in Manila on that day.
2,400 at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, deaths. Manila, December 8th. 80 killed. You guys didn't do shit.
What?
You had to get involved later on.
That I think that's got to be just one because they bombed multiple places.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, let's move on because we got to talk a little bit more about this. So, one thing they did is they treated also a big part of this is that South Africa wasn't aligned as like it wasn't just like there's black people. Because the black people were in all sorts of different tribes.
Sure.
They spoke different languages. They have different ethnic appearances as well.
Oh, okay.
Like Nelson Mandela comes like a South African would know what tribe he comes from because he has a distinct look.
He also has a clicky tribe.
He's from a Click Swahili tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you should say clicky.
That's not a slur.
I think it might be.
Clicky?
It sounds slurish.
God damn.
Do you think clicky's slurish, Autumn?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Suck that.
Okay. Anyways, so what they did is they also did not give them citizenship so that they would deport them.
They didn't
give of the cities.
Oh, okay.
So they would be like, "Oh yeah, you don't even you're not even South African. You don't get to live in this city." That was the main thing that they wanted to do was they wanted to keep Africans out of the city.
Sure. Okay.
Africans could be in the rural places because they thought that they were rural inherently. Mm-hmm. And whites and basically only whites. They allowed mixed race people, which they called colored people. Mm-hmm. They allowed them to kind of, depending on the level of their darkness, basically.
Yeah.
They did this thing called the hair test, which is they stuck a pencil in your hair, and if it fell out, you were white. And,
oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if it stayed in, you were black.
Wow.
which is like I would just stay on the perm. You know what I mean?
Well, that would be because not to compare it to the U.S., we had the paper bag test.
What was that?
If you were darker than a paper bag, you couldn't get into certain colleges.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And now we got white paper bags. Makes you
Yeah.
think.
That's a quality.
Makes you think.
That's a quality. We're
Yeah.
all darker than a paper bag now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all darker than a Ziploc gallon bag.
True. It's true. So there was a resistance that started immediately. I mean, it was before the apartheid government was even official, which, the ANC, which is now the leading political party in South Africa, was a resistance party. At
Sure.
points.
Yeah.
I think they ran and never were allowed in type of thing, like those political parties in countries like Russia where there's like a political party that's like every time they try to like
Who's the current president?
I think it's Jacob Zuma was the guy that was like 2 presidents ago that got kicked out for like corruption type of shit.
Because it went Mandela as number 1 black guy.
And then I think
There was another guy.
I think it was Zuma.
Yeah.
Look up who followed Mandela.
But I was listening to something where they're like, the second election, Mandela kept saying the second presidential election is the most important.
It's Mbeki. Thabo Mbeki. And then after that, I think it was Jacob Zuma. I don't know exactly.
But
look at that handsome man. Hello, Thabo.
man,
Ooh.
he got a suit in Harlem.
Damn, my man's fitted out. Yeah. We'll click on over on the right, President of South Africa. Yeah, click on that. And let's see if we can see the following. Oh, wait, who is it right now? It's Cyril Ramaphosa. Nice, dude.
Okay.
This guy gets it. Not as nice of a suit as Thabo, but still pretty good.
I mean, hey, you got to be modest sometimes.
So there's a little bit more of the history that I've kind of skipped over just because of like, not being completely the origins right there. But so the white apartheid government's in power. The African National Congress is resisting. A lot of what they do is they're doing like peaceful resistance. If they do violent resistance, it's usually just sabotage.
Well, that was Mandela was all a peace. He was all about the peace.
Yeah, there was a few different armed resistant movements.
You know that Nelson Mandela's name isn't actually Nelson?
No, what is it?
I don't. It's
You can't pronounce it.
It's something that was
I know. I have it right here. Ready? Nelson Rolly Hall.
Oh, yeah. Rolly
Lala.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
I thought it was like Rolly Fossa or something like. You know what?
They might
I don't
pronounce
know.
it differently.
I don't know why I'm even arguing for something.
He was born July 18th, 1918.
I knew 1918.
Cancer season.
Oh.
Anyways, so here's some of the armed movements. Mkhonto Wesizwe, or MK as it was known. The Azanian People's Liberation Army. South African Communist Party. And a lot of these guys would be doing violent acts and they would have to go hide across the border in another country. Like they would dip into South Africa, shoot up some whites, go back to another country where they could chill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know about Nelson's wife?
Winnie, yeah.
And how she did like a kidnapping?
No, I didn't.
She had like kidnapped someone because she was, she didn't fully agree with the peaceful approach, and was working with some like I don't know what you would call them, but more rebellish resistance type people, and they kidnapped someone.
Okay,
and then it became like an issue because it affected his Nelson Mandela's political profile.
Yeah.
So, because that was kind of always something that was looming over her, and it led to them getting a divorce.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks. Did they make up?
They did not. He went and got married a third time to another lady.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, he's been through 3 wives. That's almost you.
Yeah, I got one more
You'll
to go.
You'll be in Nelson Mandela in a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be up there. One thing so they did this resistance, and one of their resistance was like they would go and they would just stand in front of like a police station and like tear up their transfer cards, which were like their papers,
yeah.
you know?
And there was this thing in 1960 that started around the 50s. In 1960, a bunch of them went to Sharpeville.
Well, and that matters because if you were black, you had to have your papers on you, or you were going to be arrested.
Yeah.
So just to clarify,
and they just tore them all up.
Yeah.
In front, or burned them in front of the police station, and the police just freaked out and shot 60 people.
Oh wow!
And it was called the Sharpeville Massacre, and that was one of the changes in Nelson's life, because Nelson had been a youth leader, like a youth, like that's what gained him notoriety, was like doing youth like activism.
Yeah, like put on basketball games. And
then after that, he joined Umkhonto Suizwe. Yeah, they'd have like dance competitions,
CYO stuff.
Yeah, they'd do like Stomp.
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to save the rec center.
Yeah, they would do kind of rec center type activism. Bake sales, but like where you have to bid.
Did you ever do a bake sale?
Yeah.
I worked in, I did
it for, this is embarrassing, Hamas. I tried to raise money. This is before I knew what they were about.
You did it.
I actually keep on.
It was a couple weeks ago until the attack happened. Wait, I got to take these pies back home.
Sorry, I did not know. I have been joking to friends who are serious about it that I've been like I'll check on them, and I'll be like, hey, how are you doing? I know this must be rough. And then I'll be like, and before it gets out, I just want you to know I did not know that I was subscribed to Hamas's Patreon. They love it. They think it's really funny. But I like it.
They do put out good podcasts.
Yeah. Some of the best. We're actually sponsored by.
Yeah. We're trying to get off of Gotham and on their network.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's weird. Lately, the line's been down. It's been hard to upload to their server for some reason. But the Umkhonto Umsizwe is where Mandela went from the ANC. He actually started doing the sabotage acts. He was always about nonviolence, but he was into sabotage. And he got caught in 1964 and sentenced to life in prison. And
what was he sabotaging?
I think it says right here.
Like breaking umbrellas when they open. They don't work.
It just says acts of sabotage. I'm sure if I would have read this, but it was 1962 he was arrested and sentenced to life, and that's in 1964 is when he went on trial, and then he went with a lot of ANC leaders in 1964, and he was sentenced to life. He spent 27 years in prison on Robben Island.
Yeah.
So he spent a bulk of his life in prison.
You know, my first introduction to Nelson Mandela was on the Reflection Eternal album.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Do you remember when he does the intro?
Yeah. You didn't know who that was?
Well, I mean, I knew of Nelson Mandela, but that's the first time I probably had heard him speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think for some reason, just because I went to a better school than you.
I went to a private school.
Yeah,
Catholic.
Bad private school.
You were just in, first of all, I've talked about this with Garfield. You were in the good program, which it was kind of its own apartheid in Garfield.
Yeah, and I supported it.
Yeah, you were in the white program, and then the black program was where they treated them dumb.
Yeah, well, okay, so your school was pretty mixed,
very mixed,
and all dumb. It was just
because you think that mixed people get dumb. The coloreds are dumb.
I didn't say that. You put those words in my mouth, and I meant it.
You put those words in my mouth, and they tasted good.
Yeah. But no, the high school that I went to was very progressive, very touted as this kind of experiment in modern education, and it really was like the first floor was all black kids and basic programming, basic classes. And then you went up one floor and it was Horizon. Yeah. And it was pretty mixed, but like not exclusive.
Sure.
And then you went up one more and it was the AP program. And the AP program was like...
That was like the heart of Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And then right outside.
Yeah. So I was kind of like... I was in the suburbs where I was like mixing.
Yeah.
You know? I was slumming a little bit. I was going over
amongst the coloreds.
I was going over to the Sowetos and other kind of townships to hang.
So you weren't in the AP program?
No, I couldn't test into that.
Okay.
I think a lot of it,
I probably would have tested in had I been able to concentrate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard time concentrating.
You still do.
Yeah.
Are you still off meds?
I've never been completely off. I take Wellbutrin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I never stopped taking that.
Yeah.
And then I guess I don't think it does much though. I don't think Wellbutrin it does. I think it maybe helps a little bit with ADD symptoms, but I don't think it helps with depression.
Yeah, it's not an SSRI.
No,
it's whatever the other one is, the dopamine one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on both of them, and it's fine. I don't know. It's the thing.
I don't have depression though. Like I don't feel it lately. I haven't felt depressed. I've had anxiety, but I haven't felt depression.
But the anxiety doesn't turn into depression.
I think historically it did.
Has, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. It's not,
Well, I think you're under such a different circumstance because you have a child now, and
I don't really have time to feel bad for myself.
You don't have time to feel bad for yourself. You don't have time to like settle into a groove of like inactivity.
Yeah, I can't focus. I can't like sit and dwell.
Yeah,
not a lot of dwelling happening. But I don't think I got a new therapist. I'm not in love with him. I like him, but he's a little...
When was the last time you liked a therapist?
I liked my last therapist. She just got weird on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've liked every therapist. I've like never... I wasn't too thrilled about my current therapist, but I've been with her for 4 years now.
Yeah, this guy's just a little like... he's like a little... His office isn't that nice, There's like certain things like where I'm just like, this is a little low rent. Because I went in network.
Does he look like a private eyes office?
It's got a little bit of that vibe. Like there's a tripod with the EMDR machine on it.
What's an EMDR machine?
It's like a light flashing thing that helps with trauma.
Oh.
You like focus on these lights, and it's almost like a hypnosis.
Okay.
And he like the tripod's broken that it sits on, and I'm just kind of like, come on, man, fucking spend $20, get a new tripod. He's also like an overweight, older white guy.
Oh, okay.
But he's very sweet. I like him. I just need somebody who's like a little.
Do you
more...
think he'll make you accept your body issues?
Probably. Do you think I have body issues?
I think mentally, yeah. You're always like, I'm fat.
Well, I just don't. It's like anything that's not perfect is fat, right?
Yeah,
that's how.
I feel the same. I mean, I have the same thing.
Okay.
But every time I take off my shirt, everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah, every
ow,
time
ow.
What bothers me.
This
is, I don't know if people will agree with this or sympathize with this, but my wife gained weight while she was pregnant, and then I gained weight while she was pregnant, and then she lost that weight, and I was like, yeah, I'm like still trying to lose the weight, and she's like, well, who cares? Like your body. But the thing is it's fine to gain weight as a pregnant lady. Everybody's cool with that. I just gained it because I was like nervous, so I ate cake.
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with my feelings, so I had extra Skittles.
That's why I gained weight in allyship with you.
Thank you. This week on Ally McBeal, we bring in a new...
you bring a fat Filipino.
Yeah, we bring a Filipino into the office to work as our paralegal, but we pay him the same because we believe in equality.
Yeah, he gets paid the same as Ally.
And every episode is just like me being like, Wilfred, he makes me say the PF thing. He goes, Wilfred, do you have those papers? And he's like eating like baked goods in the corner. And he's like, I'm actually observing my culture right now. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then I never get the papers.
Yeah. 5 times a day, I have to eat baked goods in the direction of
5
Manila.
times a day, I have to have a rice treat in the direction of Imelda Marcos's grave.
Probably in the direction of the Vatican. My parents are
in the Philippines right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to listen to this, so I don't think there's any surprise to spoil. But their 50th wedding anniversary is coming up on May 1st, and we were thinking about sending them to Rome.
Oh, that's a cute one.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
But I was like, let's send them to Florence, then go to Padua. That's right. It's like a suburb of Florence.
Yeah.
And then we can send them to the Vatican, say what's up to Francie.
The Vatican was amazing. I loved the Vatican.
Oh, really?
I went last Thanksgiving.
I would love to be there.
It's so beautiful.
For the new pope.
Yeah. It's like a profoundly gorgeous place.
Yeah.
getting back to South Africa very quickly. So basically what happens is in the 60s, the resistance movement has been kind of stifled with the arrest of a lot of the ANC leaders and a lot of, just brutality. But the tactic kind of changes to putting it out into the general world, the situation happening in South Africa.
Oh, yeah, let them all know.
And it took about 30 years for the rest of the world to be like, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
I mean, they didn't have the internet.
In the 80s, people condemned South Africa. They didn't let them compete in like Olympics and other things, Goodwill Games. There was like a defund, divest type of movement out of colleges and other things. South Africa was definitely like on the tip of young black kind of like college students throughout the 80s and 90s, maybe even earlier. World liberation kind of like theoretical talk. But they really got away with it for a really long time.
Oh, sure.
And then in the 90s, the president was F.W. de Klerk, and he basically knew that their days were numbered. They were also suffering economically. They were not able to trade with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so he opened it up. He released Mandela, and then they kind of did, I think that's when they let Mandela run for president. They freed all the prisoners, and they did a Truth and Reconciliation Committee.
Which this Truth and Reconciliation stuff that happens in Africa is very moving for me.
Yeah.
I just watched have you seen the This Is Football doc on Amazon?
They have like 25
There's like
documentaries.
yeah,
on Amazon.
but this one it's called This Is Football.
Okay.
It's not a documentary; it's a series.
Okay.
And the first episode is about these Liverpool fans in Rwanda, and they go over
because they genocided.
Yeah, and they go over like how the genocide, and it's very sweet. I think it was the last time I cried.
Damn.
And they go over like the how they had to reconcile because all these it was the Hutus and
the Tutsis.
Tutsis, yeah, all of the
Which I gotta say, for a genocide, pretty cute names.
cutest genocide, honestly.
Cutest genocide names. Such an adorable genocide.
But they didn't have a government to like judge these the people that committed crimes.
Yeah, like arrest and kind of.
So they just like everyone like it was a panel of like just the community.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's what they did in South Africa too, where they like literally like they'd be like, okay, you are like accused of this crime, so you have to come, and your victims are going to talk to you.
yeah.
And it kind of happened across the country, and I don't really think it worked all the way. It definitely helped, but South Africa is still a pretty bad place.
Yeah, and I know like it's very moving, the idea of like, okay, we're gonna like let them out of prison or not like condemn them or make them feel, not punish them. We're just going to like have this reconciliation between us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that like when Mandela was president, crime was very high.
Well, they I think for a while, right after Thabo Mbeki, it was the highest murder rate in the world. And like they had like cars that you could buy that shot flames out of the side. So, like, look at will you Google
Hot rod?
Google anti-carjacking fire. Yeah, there. That was it. Yeah. Go to the second one.
Car security fire blaster?
Demonstration of the so-called blaster. An actress plays a businesswoman returning home and being confronted by an armed man who wants her car. With the shock dummy now in place, the woman presses a pedal.
Oh.
The blaster ignites gas.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
From the underside.
Thank
of
you
the
for not
car.
showing
It
us
was just a
an actual
demonstration
death.
and no one was hurt. In real life,
Listen to that
they
disgusting
would-
accent.
This man invented the blaster.
I would get into the car. First of all,
He says drivers should put their hands up and then step on the gas. The police actually filmed the yellow car being hijacked. And amazingly, they're now saying they can't see any legal problems with the blaster so long as the
Yeah, how long did this
rifle is
last?
blasted. but the surgeon who runs this trauma unit feels profound concern.
That's hilarious.
The average person in the street has any concept of the appalling
Yeah.
damage that burns cause. The result of that
Yeah.
is permanent, expensive, it's disfiguring. Innocent people are going to get caught, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, we can stop this. But anyways, yeah, so that was how bad the crime was that people hooked up flamethrowers to the underside of their cars.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
If you had an invention that you could put on, let's say a car, because you don't have one, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe the subway. What would it be? Like, what would it improve your subway ride? I think I wouldn't be against airplane style class
Yeah,
class on the subway.
I mean, that was one of your classic bits.
Yeah.
This is just based off of today's write-in. It would be nice to have like a
Cup
helmet,
holder.
not just like a helmet where like, because it's you. My main issue with a subway is there's a lot of scents.
Would you be okay with a one-person size room? Like you could just get in like a telephone booth size. It's smaller than a telephone. It's literally, it opens, you can lay back against it, and the door shuts on you. Would you be okay with that?
The issue with that,
It'd get gross.
it'd get gross.
Yeah.
Like
you'd get in your little room and you'd realize that somebody had pooped on the floor.
yeah. That would suck if you were assigned that one. Like
Yeah.
you got to go to the shit room.
Ugh.
But it would be nice if you know what would be nice is if we just had homeless people, like we just gave them a room, like on each car,
Yeah.
where they can like sleep and have a good
Party.
and do their
Yeah.
own, like wash their feet or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, something to
A homeless car.
to get the sense.
So that's what
out
your
of it.
solution for the
No,
homeless
not a
problem.
homeless car. I mean
You
a
want
homeless
car
room
homeless
for each
people.
car.
Yeah, a room for. We want to put the homeless people.
Each car
in
has
a dark room.
it has windows. You can look at them because sometimes they want to show their penises off.
Can they?
And that's and if
Can they stick their arms out of little holes?
oh yeah, where there's like it's like a glove.
Yeah.
So you can shake their hand, but it's gloved.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems nice.
Yeah, it's like a bubble boy situation
Yeah.
on each
Except
each car.
we're keeping the germs in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if to start with something, it would just be like something to keep the smells out. Because every time someone walks by asking for money, they don't smell that good.
Yeah. I've noticed that there's like a weird correlation between people's like lack of access to bathing and money. Okay. That was South Africa. That was Nelson Mandela. That was apartheid. This is the Known Zone. My name is Andy Haynes.
We still
and
have 6 minutes.
I have to get out of here. I
What?
do. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why?
Because I told Rosebud I would be back. I mean, we can do like 3 more minutes if you want, but I have to get
I think
back
people are
quick.
going to unsubscribe because
Is
of
it
3
minutes? Okay,
Yeah.
fine. We'll stay on.
I mean, I do have some other Nelson Mandela stuff. I just don't remember what they were.
He went to Robben Island.
Oh,
Got out.
his tribe was polygamous. His
Really?
dad had like 3 or 4 wives.
Sick. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what the guy downstairs has.
Oh yeah,
We didn't think of. Autumn just made fun of him because he was different than her.
yeah,
But maybe he's from a culture where there's lots of wives.
yeah. And maybe he's from a place in the world where women aren't that cool,
Yeah, maybe, or
and he needs to get 3 or 4 to
they're
amount
very
to 1.
cool, or they're really cool for once. Anyways,
I bet if you, so if you were polygamous, you couldn't start with Rosebud
what do you mean?
because she wouldn't let you have another wife.
No. She'd have to fall on some pretty hard times. Although, no, I actually think it's the most powerful wife that lets you have the other wives.
Really?
Yeah, because she's like, yeah, go fuck that lady. I
Yeah,
don't care. I'm
care.
sick of you. You know?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
You think Rosie's not that powerful?
No, she is. But I still don't think she'd let me because I would be too happy.
I don't think she. Yeah, I don't think
She'd
she'd
be
even.
like, no, you don't get other
Why are you
wives."
smiling?
Yeah. Ugh, get out of here.
Yeah, you're just like reading a comic book. She's like, "Are you cheating on me?"
Yeah, exactly. I'm like
Did
enjoying.
you find another woman?
Oh, you know what else I just realized? The Champions League just started, so we do have to get out of here. for
Oh
that.
shit! But is Arsenal playing
Arsenal's
today?
tomorrow. No, yeah.
Then I don't really care.
Anyways, this is the Known Zone. I'm Andy Haynes. I'm joined by my consummate co-host.
Oh, you didn't even do this.
No, I didn't do it up top because you interrupted me. You didn't interrupt me. I just didn't get to it. We got in this separation over what the podcast was. We started talking about that.
What?
I said that it's a podcast where we
yes.
know a little bit about a lot of things.
But if you're still listening or watching, subscribe on YouTube, please. Subscribe on whatever podcast
iTunes,
platform
Spotify,
you're listening to.
What's that other one that's got an ER at the end?
I don't want to know about any ER words.
Okay, keep going.
And make sure that you leave us a review. If you leave a funny review, we might respond to it.
Yeah.
Also, you can email us at Autumn's going to put it right now. I don't know what the email is.
Podcast@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. You put cast in there?
There's also the Known Zone Pod. Both of them go to the same inbox.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
And then, send us an email. Interact with us. We'll interact back.
Yeah.
We're not too cool to talk to you guys.
They all were worried that we were too cool.
Yeah.
And also, thanks for all the nice messages. I've gotten some kind messages from friends that they've been listening. They love it. It's helping them get through.
I've gotten some good messages saying.
Well, I was talking about it.
It's really nice that Andy's not around for these episodes.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's great.
You should look at today's episode's comments.
I honestly.
What a great time without Andy.
Really? Did Jeff write it?
I mean, it doesn't. It's an anonymous account that does have his birthday at the end.
Okay, it's weird he went anonymous, but then very specific. I will be at the Port Comedy Club in Baltimore, Maryland, December 22nd and 23rd. And
Who's opening?
I don't know because it's not one of those. They don't pay anything. It's one of those. You know what I mean?
Maybe I'll be free.
Yeah, I would advocate for you if they had money, but I don't think it's. I'll check into it. We'll see what happens.
Look into it.
And then please, if you're in Baltimore, please go to that, buy tickets, and otherwise come out. If you're in New York City and come see a show. If you're visiting New York, come see a show. If you need an excuse to leave your family, say I have to go see an Andy Haynes and Wilfred Padua show. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I just want. We've got listeners, we've got viewers. I just want them to
review,
interact with us, make us look like we're a good, successful podcast.
Yeah, you do the work.
Yeah, you do the work. Because what can I do better?
I don't know.
I'm killing it.
Yeah. Wilfred has a Don't Tell coming out. Keep an eye out open for that.
Yeah, that'll be in a few months.
Subscribe to the Don't Tell website.
And then share my video when it comes out. But
only his video.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, you guys. Andy's got to go be a father.
I almost went the whole time.
I know I was kind of like filibustering.
Filibuster? Is that what you think it is?
Filter bustering.
All right. I gotta go. Bye.